The EU failed to pass chat control yesterday, a temporary win for the people of the world against mass surveillance.
Can someone please explain to me what is going on with the TikTok live age verification?
You have all my information that tells you that I am 35. Why all of a sudden are you like, you look like you're 16 years or younger, so now we're going to restrict your account and you need to verify.
If you're using a work computer, your employer can see way more than you think they can.
I got laid off from my corporate job yesterday.
Life has gotten so expensive that it's not even worth trying to be frugal anymore. There's no point.
Over 800 million people living in Western democracies are slowly seeing their online privacy disappear. This isn't about protecting the children, it's about surveillance. 25 US states, the UK, the EU, and Australia, they're all passing similar child safety laws. It starts looking more like coordination than coincidence. Florida just forced everyone to show ID before accessing adult websites. VPN usage shot up 1,150% overnight. Tennessee requires you to re-verify yourself every 60 minutes like you're a toddler who can't be trusted. In December, every Australian under 16 will be banned from social media, but it doesn't just affect the teenagers because everyone has to verify their age. The EU has been trying to pass chat control since 2022. If passed, all 450 million people living in the EU will have every message, every photo, every file scanned, even encrypted messages like WhatsApp. And it doesn't require any suspicious activity. We will all be surveilled. Well, except for government officials. They get to keep their private sensitive information. It's just surveillance for the rest of us.
Chat control. Could I have your phone and see all the pictures and videos that you've shared with your friends, your family, your loved ones? Probably not, right? Then why would we allow strangers snooping on our phones? Because chat control proposes mass surveillance for all European citizens.
Signal, the private encryption messaging app, threatened to leave Europe entirely, calling it mass surveillance. The US, the UK, Australia, the EU, they're all requiring users to now verify with government IDs, digital IDs, facial scanning, or allowing AI to identify you based on data it already has on you. This creates a permanent record in big tech's database. They have your name, the website you're on, timestamps so they know how long you've been there, and it's all linked back to your government ID. And sure, there are data laws, but we increasingly see more companies violating these laws. TikTok, Shein, they're all transferring American and European data back to China. And states are increasingly getting worse. Michigan wants to ban VPNs entirely in a bill called Anti-Corruption of Public Morals Act. They're wanting to give internet service providers, those are companies like AT&T and Comcast, the ability to filter through your searches and prevent you from seeing anything they deem immoral. If the internet service provider doesn't comply, they're fined $500,000. When privacy tools become illegal, then surveillance becomes mandatory. Our representatives use these very emotional stories involving children to justify why they're taking away our privacy. And when that doesn't work, they pivot. They start saying it's for national security, it's to counter terrorism, and it's to make our neighborhoods safer. But let's look at the reality of all of this. If it was truly about preventing online teenagers from viewing adult content, then why does everybody need to verify their age? Why does everyone need to upload a government ID? If it was truly about preventing harm, then why does that prevention stop at 17 or 18? Because the last time I checked, online bullying doesn't stop the day you turn 18. I mean, we can scroll through my YouTube comments if we want proof. We know social media is destroying society. Frances Haugen showed us Facebook's own internal research. Their algorithms deliberately polarize us. They turn neighbors into enemies, they isolate us, and they push people to extremes. So why is it that our representatives haven't put an end to these harmful algorithms? These same algorithms that are pushing adult content to teenagers. Is it because they themselves own stock in big tech? The 2012 Stock Act forced US politicians to disclose their financial trades. And guess what we found? Only 5% of Congress members don't own any stock. That means the other 95% own stock in these companies that they're supposed to be protecting us from. They're supposed to be regulating. Now, there is a penalty for representatives that don't disclose their financial transactions. They're fined $200. Just $200. They can make millions of dollars, not disclose, and then just pay 200. Former Danish politician Karen Melchior wrote tech legislation while owning stock in Apple, Google, and Amazon. She claimed there was no conflict of interest. Social media apps already require users to be 13 to have an account. Some could argue this is the parents' responsibility. They should be monitoring their teens' online activity. And then there's the other parents. They're using their kids for content, making money off the same platforms they claim are dangerous. It's hard to tell your kids that social media is harmful when you're posting them for views and content. And teenagers aren't stupid. UK teens are already using video game characters to bypass age verification. They're more tech savvy than the politicians writing the legislation. In the US, we have CEOs of surveillance technology companies proclaiming that America has a crime problem. Yet if we look at the FBI's own data from July 2024 to June 2025, the murder rate dropped 17%, robbery down almost 15%, burglary down 12%, vehicle theft down 25%. Violent crime is at the lowest it has been in 20 years. But surveillance companies like Flock need you scared, so they lie. They mount AI cameras on traffic lights to track every car and log every movement. When crime statistics don't support mass surveillance, they come up with new threats. We see it with Palantir. They're building a massive database on millions of innocent Americans, claiming that it's for safety. Safety from who? Remember when we were collectively horrified at China's surveillance and their social scoring system?
So, picture your life in a place where everything you do, what you buy, how you behave, is tracked. The government gives you a score, and the score is a measure of how trustworthy you are as a citizen and determines what you're allowed to do. Boarding a train, getting a mortgage, all goes back to this score.
The West called this dystopian, authoritarian, and un-American. Now American tech companies are building it and selling it to every Western nation. They don't call it social credit, they call it crime prevention, but the cameras, the databases, and the tracking are identical. Big tech grows more powerful every single day, while our representatives can't even figure out how to operate a printer. Watch any congressional hearing.
Does TikTok access the home Wi-Fi network?
Only if the user turns on the Wi-Fi. I'm sorry, I may not understand the...
So if I have a TikTok app on my phone and my phone is on my home Wi-Fi network, does TikTok access that network?
It will have to access the network to get connections to the internet, if that's the question.
So how many data categories do you store, does Facebook store on the categories that you collect?
Senator, can you clarify what you mean by data categories?
There's some past reports that have been out there that indicate that Facebook collects about 96 data categories.
Senator, I'm not actually sure what that is referring to.
If our leaders are this clueless about technology, what does that mean for the general population? Power works best when you can't see it or understand it. Tech billionaires know this. They've been regulating themselves for years because nobody else knows enough to stop them. How can you criticize code if you can't read it? And how can you criticize systems if you don't understand what they do? We're forced to take their word for everything. Trust us, your data is safe. Governments don't regulate them anymore. They depend on them. They need big tech to explain big tech. Here's the proof, the Bilderberg conference. Every year, US and European elites meet in total secrecy. There's no media allowed, attendees are sworn into silence. They only tell us what they want us to know. This year it was held in Sweden, and guess who showed up? Daniel Ek, the Spotify CEO, and the Wallenberg family. This is Sweden's richest dynasty. Representing the US, we had Alex Karp of Palantir, surveillance extraordinaire. Then there was Peter Thiel. He's invested in multiple surveillance companies. He also claims anyone that criticizes tech is the Antichrist. Then we have Satya Nadella running Microsoft, who has also had their own conflicts around surveillance. These aren't advisors or consultants. These are equals sitting at the same table as our representatives, carving out our digital future behind closed doors. Alex Karp has said in interviews that European leaders don't want Europeans knowing how closely they work together.
You know, one of the things that's worked very, very well in Europe, we always have to sign these contracts we can't talk up, and in Europe about who uses our product, which is slightly annoying because I'm constantly getting yelled at by people who are protected in our product.
Why is it that Western governments increasingly want to see everything we're doing online as well as read our text messages? The numbers tell the story. The UN's 2025 World Social Report just revealed that 2.8 billion people, over a third of humanity, are on the edge of poverty. According to the US government's own data, in 2024, the official poverty rate was 10.6%. That's 35.9 million people living in poverty in 2024, with experts believing that that number is going to increase for 2025. Then we can look at the credit card debt. It's increased to $1.33 trillion. Nearly half of US households now carry credit card balances, and they're paying an average interest rate of above 20%. When people are using buy now, pay later apps to purchase groceries while watching billionaires race to become trillionaires, of course there's going to be some discontent.
Getting fucked by the government every day, my job, the job economy, the economy in general, inflation, the landlords, the insurance companies, the banks, the billionaires, they're all just having their way with me every single day.
Can I ask how much your rent is? $600 a week. And it goes up in December, going up to $1,350. So we're gonna have to move.
This is a day in the life of a 25-year-old who lives in a car with his wife.
I'm 35 years old. I'm sleeping on a mattress on the floor at my friend's place because it's impossible to get a rental.
I'm just so f***ing sick and tired of living the way me and my family live. We work every single spare minute of the day.
So last month, our water bill was pretty high, $217 for the month. Our usage was a little high, so I talked to my girlfriend. I say, let's try to conserve water. We took short showers. I even used a timer during my shower. We saved 500 gallons, which is awesome. You want to guess how much my water bill was for this month? $215. We used 500 gallons less, and I saved $2 whole. Are you actually for real right now? But Zach, how could this be? The fees and the taxes went up so much in the course of 1 month. That's all we saved. So what's the point?
Pew Research surveyed 36 nations. 54% say the wealth gap is a massive problem. 60% believe the rich have hijacked politics. People aren't just unhappy, they're furious.
The Amazon tycoon's wedding was never going to be a low-key affair, and Jeff Bezos and his fiancée have made the canals and palazzos of Venice their own.
Never, like Jeff Bezos, has anyone had this hubris, this arrogance to regard all of Venice as his personal property.
They're ruining the planet. It's just a money business. What about our grandchildren? What will they be left with?
And what response do we get from the government? We've gone from 52 authoritarian regimes to 60 in just 10 years. Researchers found that the OECD is an organization for democratic countries like the US, Australia, European countries, and the UK, has slowly been shifting its language over the past 50 years. Surveillance used to be a problem to solve, but now it's a solution for improving lives. But we can fight back against surveillance. The EU chat control vote was delayed. If you're in Europe, you can contact your representatives through fightchatcontrol.com. I'll leave it linked down below. For everyone else, reach out to your representatives. I actually had a supporter of the channel reach out to me on Patreon letting me know that they were meeting up with their local representatives. This actually gave me hope. If enough of us speak up, they have to listen. Everyone can join Fight for the Future. They're using technology to fight surveillance, not enable it. Because technology and the internet, it was supposed to be freedom, not this, not government IDs for everything, not governments reading every message we send. This isn't about protecting the children, because if it were, then they would target the algorithms that are harming everyone.